Hello and welcome back to RailRoads Online. So today we are finally finishing up the cleanup project, I guess, or our putting away of all of the rolling stock and locomotives for this save spot. And I was up here and I just noticed today for the first time that these buckets actually do go up and down into the mine up here at the coal mine. I had never noticed that before. So I don't know if they've always been that way and I've just never been back here behind it to actually notice. But there you go. Never ceases to amaze me how many things we see for the first time in this game, no matter how long you've been playing it or how many hours you have into it. So, just figured I'd point that out before we head out. So there we go. And engine is ready to go. Looks like brakes off, kicking into gear. Probably check and see if we have any brakes set quick. We shouldn't, but one never knows. It's been a while since we've moved this loco, that's for sure. Looking forward to this one being done. The last of many. We have already built the shed and the storage holding unit for this locomotive, and we got the other porter, the final porter, type 2, out to the barns as well. So this is absolutely the last one to go in. Not exactly sure how many holding sheds we had to build. I guess I haven't counted them. Probably 7, I'm thinking. Which gives us, I guess, 14 locomotives or something like that. That's where it came out. So it's been a bit of a process to build them. To build them all a place to sit and track to hold all the rolling stock. Kind of surprised. I guess I always thought I had a little more rolling stock than I do, but then we did delete a few cars in the process of picking everything up, so the number is down a little bit, but I am, I'm not holding that one against myself too much. I don't like the idea of deleting cars, don't get me wrong, but at a certain point too, I just wanted it to get done. So now these cars are a little more expensive than flat cars, so I don't think, sorry about the camera there. I don't imagine I'll be trying to delete too many of these. This will just kind of take in some sights and sounds of the mountain as we go down. After this, we will be starting laying track with the beta, so that'll be kind of the next plan, is to flop over to the beta and get a route laid in with the new track so that we are ready for the release of the cars or the locomotives, all of that stuff with the beta edition. And we can get a look at the Glenbrook, I believe the new loco is called, when it comes out. Other channel stuff I guess we wanted to take care of. We did go over 300 subscribers this week, so I wanted to shout out and say a big thank you to all the new people who have come on board and subscribed. It's sure helping the channel grow. And we are definitely making some progress. The last 100 from 2 to 300 definitely went faster than the 100 to 200. So that's good to see, and we definitely appreciate all the new viewers, subscribers, And I want to point out that there is the Discord donation link, but the Discord link is down below. You know, trying to get together the community there for people who want to share screenshots, stories, and or we just added a spot for people to, you know, looking for games and looking for people to play with them, because that seems to be maybe a thing people can use. So that's all there, and we just wanted to make sure that we said thank you to everybody. It's been great so far, so big thanks to all y'all. Heading on down. I like how, you know, I fixed all this. I got all this stuff to run out smooth now, just in time to turn around and probably rip it all up and change it. But that was all part of learning what we could or couldn't do. And with the new splines, when they hit, you know, I think a big thing that we've heard about with those is the speed of the locomotives picking up. So, you know, if you got a tight turn that didn't work before, or was in a place where, you know, you want to haul and be moving, like down here, you know, you're coming down that hill with, it's not convenient to have to go real super slow at the bottom of the hill. So we had to fix it anyway, and now we know what kind of curve it takes to get through here. Smoother. And we have our track course pretty much laid out. I don't know how much course changing we're going to do in the process of switching over to the beta. I guess I am looking forward to getting everything switched over to the beta, learning that new track, and then seeing what we can do with it. Excuse me. At that point, if we can put in some shortcuts, I have some ideas for in and around here, but I guess I'd rather wait to try it with the new track than get it all to work with the old track and then just end up replacing it anyway. So after we get a decent system down for the new spline track, we'll start getting into that. And then, excuse me, there are some places definitely like this valley. We are not going to come up this valley in the same track set. We will change this. This is one place I'm not happy with the way that the track looks. I just want it to look cleaner here. You can tell that this was like I just wanted to get it done at a certain point section, so it really pretty much goes from A to B about as direct as I could get it there, to be honest. It just kind of goes where I would really like it to probably meander down one side of the stream more so than crossing back and forth over it so many times and just kind of chucking it in there. Why are we going so slow? Is that just a weight thing? That's got me wondering now if there is a brake on somewhere. Oh, now we seem to be moving along okay, so I don't know, maybe it was just, there is a little bit of an uphill grade in there, and this part I know gets a little bit of a downhill grade, so we should pick up a little bit of speed here. But this, I don't like the way it looks. Kind of at a loss of words because I can't even describe, like, I just don't like it. I think it's too unrealistic with that long a bridge, and I don't like it. So this is going to get relayed, dropped down in some kind of way. Even if we do cross back and forth over the stream, because I don't want to try to figure out how to weave it through here, we are not going to be elevated, 10 feet in the air on a bridge for 3/4 of the run, because I just don't like that. So, the nice thing is it's an open sandbox. You can do it however you want to do it. I would like to get it down to a little more realistic. I think this is probably my most unrealistic portion of the whole run. They wouldn't have done that. I don't think. This is like some bridge from the Florida Keys back in the day, not like, you know, down a valley bottom. I just don't see that they would have done it. So even if we build the track down up on the edge of the valley, I'd rather do that than keep it elevated like that. So it's just too middle of the road, and this stuff you can tell got all kind of wonky. I mean, in here at least we were trying to keep it down and keep it a little more realistic. If the whole thing was on this, I wouldn't complain. I could see him building retaining walls in some sort of wetlandy area so that the stuff didn't simply wash out all the time. That makes sense to me. But I don't like all that wood bridge work that I did. But that section really was the I'm just going to drop it in here and get it done. I don't think anybody that's laid this valley can make an argument that it's not like, you know, it is like the longest track you run going to any one run, I'm pretty sure. So this one, at a certain point, I think it's inherent that a lot of people just kind of slap it in and try to get it done. So we'll definitely be doing some rework in here. Always was the plan to do that anyway. It just feels like we're lugging. It's probably not a good time to jump out of the locomotive, actually. This is the run that, of all runs, getting the speed of the locomotives up is going to really pay off. The rest of the runs, I probably wouldn't mind keeping it in the range where it is, like, or at least, you know, don't go, I want to go faster. This one I definitely want to go faster. I know there was talk about the hopper cars, so apparently these are all going to be replaced. Just the deal is these are not historically accurate to what they would have been. Which, okay, I guess I was always of the impression that you probably would have had a ton of different styles of these back in the day, and they could look like anything, I would have thought. But, you know, like I've said before, I am no historic train expert to know that for sure. So these are a good looking hopper car though, so although they almost do look like some sort of livestock car from the side. When I first saw them, that's what I thought, they were livestock cars. Which that would be a fun one to actually have to transport in the game, would be livestock. Loading process might be much easier, as in like you just open a gate and let them go in, you know what I mean? Now that I'm thinking about it. This too, I think we could drop this down. Again, this was, I just wanted to keep it level. So this all just runs straight level. I didn't want to drop down or go up or down at all as much as possible going through here. So everything was just kept pretty much level. Even though it almost doesn't look like it there for a minute, but it is. But this we're definitely keeping in the run because it makes the iron or the coal delivery much better than having to run down into that valley and back up out of that valley, I'll tell you that. So we won't be getting rid of this run in the new layout. It's definitely going to get rebuilt. And you get great views of the smelter from up here. I mean, you can't complain with that right there. Oh, we still have a service ramp back there. Everybody that plays this knows about building these long bridges because when you come off of it, getting back on it sometimes can be interesting depending on where and when you come off. And laying across these big drops where you really can't get the groundwork down can be interesting for sure. We still need to change that because I don't like the big wall like that. I want to run them the other direction when we rebuild. But it worked. So that's what we did at the time. That was always kind of the nice part with this layout, being it was just a make it work kind of layout in a rough in. We never had to worry about making anything look pretty or setting it perfectly in stone, if you know what I mean. We just kind of made it work. Our next layout will be much different. It's gonna probably take a little more time to lay than we took to lay this one, and keep everything laid out. I tried to hurry through laying this setup at a certain point because I was of the idea it was around that time that the spline update first started getting talked about. So where I thought it was maybe coming soon, I kind of rushed to get everything done because I wanted it all to be done when the spline update came out. So had I known we had as much time as we have had, I probably would have done a few things different. That's for sure. Like this spaghetti junction here was not planned in any way, shape, or form. It just kind of came out this way. Not that I don't necessarily like it. I almost do. It's just this. I don't like how the dirt lays into the wall, so this will all be laid out a little better in the next iteration of the track too. So looking forward to cleaning up things that we can improve. Okay, that's the right direction. This one is irrelevant. I have to be honest, I've been caught out by these switches a few times. I think the first time we brought one down here after doing it all, we caught that one on film when we crashed that one. So it is documented. And the re-rail right here was not fun. I don't like re-railing on the walls. Or bridges for that matter. Luckily, I've never had to massively do a re-rail on a bridge area. But I'm not a big fan of re-railing on the wall, so. But it comes out of there nice and easy. Not sure how it would be if these were all full. We never did bring a full 10 cars out of there full. They were sitting there getting ready to do it when we decided to swap all this out. So that'll still be coming in the future, but we do know eventually we're getting the tech tree locomotives, right? And they all have, well, not all, but I don't want to say that. People will be like, they all? But We do know some of them have a heck of a lot more tractive effort from the look of it than what we do have, so um, eventually this route will probably get turned over to whatever our biggest, strongest loco is. That's not overly a pain in the butt to run. I do know we could run a Climax because it has more power, but that's the one I'm just not overly a super huge fan of. With the spinning tire thing. When the tires don't just blow off it, we'll be back to using it much more often, but that train kind of, or loco kind of reminds me of an old cartoon dog as it takes off, or a dog on hardwood floor. It's a little more wheel slippage than slippage. So this was our first Class 70. Sometimes it's hard to remember what order you buy the trains in. We kept all the first ones single digits though, so that's how we always would know. The James J. Hill Great Northern Railway, that was a Minnesota rail back in the day. Alright, and up here we are going to run into a few problemos because we have that crossover here. So what we are going to do, because this is a Class 70 and we're getting ready to tear up all this track anyway, rather than demolish, there's the box, you can see it. I don't know how well that goes through with YouTube and all that going on, but you can see the hitbox there. So hey, let me delete. I want you to delete. No, I want you to delete rail. There we go. Being a little tricky to let me delete it. Alright, and then we will just run that from there to there. Call that good. Shouldn't have a problem. With the 10 hopper cars, I am not even willing to give it a test to see if they if the hitbox situation is fixed or not. I would rather not re-rail them, or the first 3. Usually that's what about derails when you crash into something. 3 to 5. We are going to have one more switchover issue. That's the only way for me to really do that, is to back it. To either back everything over. Yeah, I think we'll just run it. I had debated connecting this end of the project line down here, because then we could just drive across here and connect to the project line. But I don't know. Something's got me hesitating against doing it, because if we're just going to end up deleting all this track and none of it's going to be here anyway, I don't see the point in extending it over. We'll probably run it through something different I guess the original plan was definitely going to be to run it all the way through there. But then I don't know, for some reason I got hesitant about doing it and am not really trying to do it, I guess. So, and being that this is the last one to get parked, I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much at this point. Okay, that'll go there. This one will have to get switched. It's going to kind of be a pain in the butt. Maybe I should have just run it all the way out. Yeah, I probably should have just ran it out around the lumber yard. It would have been maybe even easier than doing this. Well, like the debate between players, a buddy of mine and me were having the debate the other day. Would you rather see them have auto switches that we could just throw from inside the cab, or do you like the going back and forth and manually switching them? And I don't know, I guess there's two schools of thought there. One, it would be much easier for single players to flip it, but then it's not really anywhere near historically accurate, right? I mean, so I guess it all depends on your thinking behind that ease of play or anywhere near historical accuracy. And maybe that should be a thing for the difficulty setting. You know, if you're on easy mode or I guess, I don't know, very easy, whatever they are, I don't know. I always play on realistic, so for me, I would probably prefer the walking back and flipping the switches. But I could definitely see where a person would want that on a setting, or maybe it's just its own setting. You could put on auto switches and then be able to, switch it from inside the cab somehow. Maybe the switches would just highlight as you got within range of them and you could flip them or something. On an easier setting, I would hate to see them do it to where, that's on all settings, because like I say, I just don't. A fair amount of people, I would think, would like to keep the game somewhat, try to be historically accurate, I guess, if you will. So, radar switching or radio switching of track switches, if you will, is probably not a accurate adjustment. But I like the old school feel. To me, to be honest, that's kind of like my one concern with the even the new splines is, well, some people used to complain about the challenge in laying the track with the old system. I did enjoy that. I thought that was kind of the challenge of the game, and you got to have some challenge to go along with the rest of the gameplay. So, though I'm sure that just because the new splines are easier to use, I'm sure it's not just like, bang, plop. You still got plenty to figure out. But we will soon be finding out. That's for sure. Come on. then this switch up here, I'm sure. Switch up here, I have no doubt we're gonna have to flip. Or if we're going faster than, or are we going faster than it in time to get there? We got a ways to go, so. I always like when you take off running out in front of these things. It's like the sooner you don't hear the thing coming behind you, the happier you are. Because when you can still hear it behind you like this, you know it's still close. Which is sketchy. Shoo. We made it. And this will be the world's worst backup process. Hopefully, and these cars are so not fun for slapping around on bad rail. At least that's been my experience. The hopper cars do not appreciate bad rail. And maybe that's because they're, you know, I don't know. They are pretty big. And I think they're like the heaviest cars by themselves that we have in the game. So there's that too. I don't know. The tankers might be heavier. I don't want to be quoted on that because it could be either, but I'm sure it's one of the two. Hello, Mr. Train. Alright, let's bag you up. Go for dramatic effect. That means get out the way. Hopefully this doesn't go too bad. Take it as slow as we can within reason and hope that some of these actually go around the corner so we don't have to relay the track just to get one train in there. That was one reason why I considered finishing that other side, was because I know that these cars can be picky. So my hope is that they can handle this without being too big a pain in the rump. I know that coming out of the coal mine, this is already a long enough run. We try not to make the episodes too long. I know that it gets to be difficult for different people to watch depending on your situation with the time. So we try to keep them, you know, not to hours and hours long of video. So hopefully everything squeaks around this corner. There's just that jinky spot right up here that nothing really likes, but we're sliding by so far. So, alright, nice. Now if we can get this thing backed up to the straights, then we'll go check our switches before we back into something we shouldn't. Alright, brakes. Let's turn off the bell. If it'll ever stop. It does. I like how every time I've ever said, if it ever stops. Boom, boom, boom. This is our holding yard. All of our rolling stock is now here, minus the couple of deleted cars. Almost every one of them got their own offshoot except the 3 steel flat cars. We put those just on the front of the wood there. Otherwise, we didn't compromise too much we were going to do. Okay, clear back. And this would be the other switch on. So switches look good. 2, 3, 4. Yep, 7 sheds it took for our locomotives. And this one's going to fill it. So 14 locos. And that's counting the porters for shunting and the hand car loco. Not that that's really per se a loco. I'm not sure what you would call the hand cart. I mean, it's a hand car, but it's not really rolling stock. Alright. Gentle little backup process. Ooh. Okay, that's enough. No point in getting obnoxious. See, that final rail isn't even in render distance yet. It's just coming in now. The wishbone yard. I don't know what else to call it. Fishbone. I guess that's what we call it. Fishbone yard. It's the fishbone yard. It could very well end up being a boneyard. That is for nothing but holding our old stuff. So we'll see. It'll be really nice if all this stuff gets converted over to the new version of rolling stock, and then we can just come in here, delete the track, build the new track next to it, re-rail it all onto the new track, and you know, go about having a ton of rolling stock. But if that is not the case, then this will become the official boneyard of Ant Inc. Rail. Alright, boom. There is that one. Disconnect, probably throw a break or something here. Or 2. Just to be cool. And we can throw this one in forward. Blast it out of here. Flip it. Should probably flip this back so that, you know, who knows what eventually is the plan. And then this one we should probably switch off of there. That way everything is back down the main. That way we have thought ahead and we don't have anything unexpected to happen. One more back down time. And that is all she wrote. I'm kind of surprised. I guess all the stuff we had. Alright, there we go. In the barn. So, bam. And then there you see Betty. Porter Type 2. Still say that is just an awesome looking little locomotive, right? It is little. It is pint size. It will not do half of what you're eventually going to want it to do. But it looks cool. And that's just all there is to it. So, There you go. So 7 barns and all of the rolling stock. Again, I want to say a big thank you to all the subscribers, all the viewers. It's been great. Remember, if you can, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel continue to grow. And we hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you on the next episode.